Hello and welcome back to episode 15 of Quantum Break. I'm Vic and you're watching yet another Let's Play channel. And as you can see, we have a minor graphical glitch. The tables have gone away for some reason. They're apparently still there. They're just not visible anymore. So we're gonna hope that that's the extent of the glitch and see what happens. We do have some more reading to do, and Beth is sure to nag us while we're doing it, so we might as well get through it as quickly as we can so that we can get back to whatever it is that she wants us to do. Okay, that's an employee chart. I don't really see a good reason to read through that. That's stuff that we know already. On the Unique Nature of the Lifeboat by Sophia Amaral. While the lifeboat protocol is fairly straightforward on the surface, it's important that the people involved with the project understand how it radically differs from other survival scenarios against so-called apocalyptic threats. A traditional bunker built to protect...
Check on Dr. Amaral.
Shut up, Beth. Built to protect the occupants from an environmental hazard, such as a chemical attack or nuclear fallout, is typically sealed airtight, and the occupants have their own electricity, air supply, provisions, etc. The bunker's interior is isolated from the outside environment. But the lifeboat's design is different. It's not actually sealed because it doesn't have to be. It does have strong walls and protected access points, but the outside environment is not the problem. It's the lack of the Meyer-Joyce field that enables time to exist that makes the outside hazardous. From a technical standpoint, these differences make the lifeboat's operating principles quite different, particularly with regard to maintenance. Compared to, say, the failure of the life support system in a hermetically sealed survival space such as a bunker, the failure of the lifeboat's stutter-proofing system has far more immediate and grave effects. A traditional life support system can be repaired, for instance. A failure in the
check on Dr. Amaral.
In the CO2 scrubbers would pose a significant threat, but with replacement parts and tools, properly trained occupants could easily repair the system before they would feel any ill effects. In fact, almost any mechanical failure short of a full-scale environmental breach can be fixed, as long as suitable repair materials and trained personnel are at hand. But by its very nature, stutter-proofing is different. If it fails, everybody within its area of effect is immediately affected by the zero state, and becomes frozen. In a permanent zero-state scenario, that means they would have no opportunity to ever effect repairs. There's literally no time to react. The only exception would be personnel wearing an activated chronon harness, such as the striker suit. But given that repairing the stutter-proofing system is a highly technical, complicated process requiring an exceptional proficiency in the operation and engineering of chronon technology, this would be a scenario with a low probability of success. Which doesn't make sense because somebody wearing such a harness could just go and put the harness on whoever was needed to repair the system. Like, we've done that in a stutter, so. It is therefore of utmost importance that the lifeboat's stutter-proofing operates reliably and without faults with multiple fail-safe systems, because if it ever fails, it is unlikely that it can be repaired and restarted. Accordingly, once the lifeboat protocol has been activated, there's no real way to deactivate it, other than removing the chronon field regulator. This would be highly inadvisable, as doing so could only disrupt the stutter-proofing. But more importantly, without the CFR, the lifeboat's rate of chronon particle consumption is increased by a vast margin, effectively reducing its potential operating time to a fraction of what is intended. Unique advantages and risks. However, it's worth noting that even though the lifeboat operation has unique hazards, there are also unique advantages. One such advantage is provisions. A traditional survival scenario in a bunker typically involves a poor quality of meals due to obvious resourcing problems. Anything that spoils easily is out of the question. In a zero-state scenario, however, spoilage becomes a non-issue. Anything stored outside the stutter-proofed area remains in perfect condition. This advantage doesn't only apply to comestibles, but also makes the storage of medicine, volatile chemicals, and other similar articles far less of a problem than it otherwise would be. In fact, given the fact that the city of Riverport is vast compared to the relatively small number of people residing in the lifeboat, In theory, Monarch operatives could venture outside the lifeboat in chronon harnesses and actually enjoy freshly cooked meals simply by entering a restaurant and finding the ready-made dishes that have been prepared. Remove them from the zero state to a stutter-proofed area and enjoy them as hot and delicious as if they had just been prepared, which in fact they of course would be. All of which ignores the conversation that we had last time about the instability of everything during stutters, and also completely ignores the dangers of dealing with shifters, which they keep talking about as a threat. This is not terribly consistent. I'm disappointed. To be clear, this is not a recommended activity, as it would be a foolish waste of resources to go after individual meals like that. The above scenario is mentioned merely to illustrate the point. Even though the lifeboat has been designed to operate for decades of subjective time, it doesn't actually need provisions for that long. If the lifeboat's own reserves start to run low, a well-planned supply run into the city could easily result in a great deal of perfectly preserved supplies. Another advantage is that while the situation outside the lifeboat would be dire, why would it be dire? If it's all just perfectly preserved, then it's nothing. It just is. People frozen in the zero state would not actually be dead. If a solution is found to the end of time scenario, everybody would resume their everyday lives, most likely with no awareness of time ever having stopped. However, it's hard to know what the exact psychological impact of that knowledge on lifeboat personnel would be. Yeah, see, which is it? Is the end of time the end of the world, or is it just the pause of the world? There's a real concern that the pressure of knowing that they have the sole responsibility for the survival of the human race and that there are billions of people outside the walls of the lifeboat, helpless and unaware, frozen eternally in that last moment, may prove to be crushing for some. On the other hand, knowing that their loved ones are actually not dead and may be saved and are not in any distress, or indeed even aware of the situation, may prove to be a powerful motivating factor that helps us eventually resolve the situation. Of course, the solution to the problem of a permanent zero state is not currently within our reach, and we expect that finding one will take subjective decades, if it is indeed possible, but we can try. Yeah, so that's the other thing, is the longer it takes, the less motivating it's going to be, because it's going to be really awkward for you to go back to your friend mysteriously 40 years older than it would be if just a few weeks had passed. It's worth noting that since the people outside Lifeboat are indeed not dead, merely stopped, it should be possible for a team of personnel wearing chronon harnesses to exit the lifeboat, retrieve a person, and bring them into the lifeboat. However, I advise against adopting this practice for the occupants. That should forever remain a theoretical scenario. Any situation in which somebody is brought in from the outside would cause undue stress on the occupants, who would at that point have to become acutely aware that their loved ones could be brought in. But since the lifeboat has limited space, this could never be allowed. That kind of psychological pressure would likely lead to friction and questions of favoritism, and ultimately increase the risk of mission failure. Of course, people are going to work that out, whether they're given an example of it or not. Come on, just... Thank you. Mission Statement 1999, Limited Distribution. I've seen the path ahead, and I know it will be hard. I've founded Monarch Solutions to bring together those who will walk it with me. The elite few whose skill, dedication, and passion will live on when everything else ends. To that end, 1. We will work under my guiding vision of the future, my knowledge of what is coming. We accept that we cannot change our fate, nor can we avoid it. It is a harsh truth, but it is the truth. We will accept it and its full implications, but we will not deviate from our course, nor give in to despair, nor give up the fight. Those of us who share in this knowledge, who learn the triumphs and tragedies of the days and years to come, will look past them and find ways to turn them to our advantage. The gray, uncertain area beyond what is known will be where we build our empire, and we build it on the hope that we can persevere, that the end isn't our end, that we can still succeed. We will expand Monarch's influence and power in all possible spheres: financial, political, cultural, medical, technological, military, to the best of our ability. This is a goal unto itself. We will need to be in a position of exceptional resources and ability to act when the time comes. We will build. We will seek success and profit, not for the sake of wealth and fame, but for the sake of preparedness. We will develop science and technology to counter a very specific set of circumstances. This will require extensive research and experimentation as well as tremendous financial cost. We will not be daunted by these challenges. We will complete our work. We will not compromise. We recognize that sacrifice is required, and we are willing to pay the cost to meet our goals. There is no alternative to this. Doubt, qualms, and sentiment are luxuries we cannot afford. Whatever we have to do is a lesser evil than the extinction of the entire human race, and to pretend otherwise is weakness. Nothing in the history of our planet has been as important as this. Nothing we have accomplished as a species matters if we fail in our mission. 5. We will not fail. There will be many challenges in the years ahead. I know it's coming. It can't be averted. There's no escaping it, but we can survive it, and we can overcome it, and we will. I'm dedicating myself, this company, and every shred of willpower at my disposal to that mission. I expect the same from those who join me on it. Yeah, nothing fanatical about that at all, and no dangerous problems presented. 3-phase plan. Phase 1, building an empire. Phase 2, preparing for the future. Phase 3, the lifeboat. No surprises there. And that's it. Thank you, Beth, for calming down after just a couple of interruptions. That was not so bad. Now, before we head over to the time machine, I did, in between episodes, notice that there's a little something interesting.
No use going there before talking to Dr. Amaral.
That I can't view right now, but check that out. Some kind of toy, and like a picture frame, and something else I can't make out over there. But I guess we have to go and talk to Sophia first. And she is where?
We might be able to reach the other side of the machine through here.
What? This is where we came in. What are you talking about? Alright, Sophia, what do you got to say for yourself? Anything? Sophia, I thought I was supposed to... I detected a Chronon. There you are. Get up there. Get up. Get up. Get up. Come on. There.
All right.
1 out of 3, huh? Where are them other 2? Is there more going on over here? What's this?
Jack. Hi. It's Will. I guess you're in Thailand by now. I'm not sure if you even still use this number. I don't like how we left things. I've been under a lot of pressure. There's some things I should tell you. I'd like to make it right. Just call me, okay? Please.
Well, that's a sad little micro story, isn't it? How about over this way? I'm sure I've commented on this already, but I really like the idea of setting up shop in an abandoned swimming pool like this. Is this a Chronon, or?
Jack.
Yeah, no. I don't want to watch that again.
It's Will. I guess you're in
So...
Thailand by now. I'm not sure if you even still use this number. I don't like how we left things.
Doors closed. Can't go running through the time machine before we're prepared.
There's some things I should tell you. I'd like to make it right. Just
Wonder why we can't interact with that. Okay, Sophia. What the hell, Beth? What's going on here? Can't go in there. Beth, what? Is it broken? Is that what's going on? Did I broke it? Maybe that's why Beth shut up. She doesn't usually shut up. Hey. 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 Hello? Come on. Pointer is right there, but if I go right there, I don't get anything. Alright, it's got to be broken, so I'm going to have to reload the game. I will be right back. Okay, so I wound up restarting the level, and things have changed a little bit. I'm thinking that maybe this dialogue tree didn't get finished properly, so I'm hoping this will get us back on track.
Is the city still hunting for me?
In full force. There's an entire webpage dedicated to potential Jackjoy sightings. So I've been filling it in with false leads for fun. Do you want to pitch in?
Hell yeah, I do.
Post that I was spotted in the back of a catering van somewhere.
You can do better than that. But okay, I'll let them know.
What's on the computer?
Monarch files I uploaded, and I kept the juiciest stuff on screen for you.
To Sophia Amaral from Paul Serene, my 5th entry. I recall moving through a wheat field that once belonged to my grandparents. I pressed the wheat stalks with the side of my hand, softly sifting through them at first. But as I pressured forward, the stalks began to warp and curl around my arms, providing resistance to my every move. The entire field began to solidify into an unbreakable material with my body entangled in the mess. I desperately tried to pull myself free, but every movement led to a burning sensation. The world desaturated. Time stopped. I heard the unmistakable sound of my greatest fear approaching. Shifters. They emerged from all sides, surrounding me. I looked into the distance and saw a blurry figure approaching. He tried to yell, but the words wouldn't escape his throat, instead transforming into an endless shriek, pulsing through my ears. His every movement and sound transformed into an agonizing discomfort all throughout my body, until it became completely unbearable. The pain trumped logic. I needed to make it stop. I needed to make it all stop. I grew violent, blindly lashing out at the figure, tearing him apart. I needed to destroy the source of motion and sound that caused me such discomfort. The pain stopped as I took the figure's life, and as he died, his identity became clear. It was me. I had become the very threat that I once feared, but I did not fear anymore. I felt something very clear, very pure. I turned around to discover Jack behind me. He didn't move, but I could somehow understand his intent. He welcomed me. Every misunderstanding, all the pain we'd caused one another was forgotten. We were part of a higher consciousness. I heard a voice behind me, Dr. Kim. He joined us. He told me that that time was once the fire in which we burned. He told me we would burn no more. So I guess they're all shifters. Beyond time. Dr. Porretta, I'm attaching Paul Serene's most recent entry in his dream journal. I'm growing increasingly concerned with the meaning behind these dreams, but I need a second opinion. I can treat Paul's sickness. Really, as far as I can determine, the Chronon Syndrome is more a metaphysical condition than an actual medical issue. But I'm a physicist. I'm very much out of my depth with all this. The exercise was meant to help alleviate the stress to ease Paul's symptoms, but so far it has resulted in the opposite. Time, ironically, is of the essence. His condition is getting worse by the day. Well, if the condition is metaphysical, then a physicist is probably not what you want.
Was that Paul?
That's how he arrived in the past.
How's that possible? It wasn't even the same time machine he entered at the university.
That's one question I still don't have an answer for.
Okay, good. I'm hoping that we've now broken out of our little issue before and can resume. I'm going to go and check and make sure that I picked up that Chronon source. And then we can finally talk to Sophia, maybe. Yep, she's got her indicator too. I fixed it.
How long do you need?
I already found the problem. Quite simple, really. The power relay is down. You'll need to find a way to reset it up. There, where the light is. I'll lower the ladder for you.
What happened to the power relay?
Power surge occurred at 7 a.m. this morning, and the machine was activated.
7 a.m. That's hours before we got here.
Well, the numbers don't lie.
Well, obviously Paul used it to go back in time, dummies. Come on.
Okay. The console here's got 2 red lights, 1 green one.
You'll have to reset the power to the 2 stations with the red lights before activating the relay. Both stations are located above the machine. Just follow the cables to the red lights.
Above the machine. The perfect place for a reset switch, Will.
Well, when you're building a time machine in an abandoned swimming pool, options are somewhat limited. Give me that Chronon. Huh? Okay. Cool. Ran a lap for fun. Yeah, this is pretty jank, though. What? Wait. Okay, so there's another one over there. I probably would have ducked under that.
Okay, the first red light is now green.
Good. One more to go.
And this whole contraption...
I'm not sure if you can reach the second one that way. You may have to climb down and reach the other side of the machine.
Who'da thunk it? This contraption is starting to sound like a Martian death ray operated by Marvin the Martian. So we gotta climb all the way down. Where? Where is it? What's going on? That's weird. So we have to climb, yeah. This one's going to be a bit of a slog, I guess. There we go. Down, and down some more. I was trying to make him slide like they do in the Elden Ring. No. Need to get up there. Huh? Where? Out of range? I hear it. Oh, now we can go check out that other stuff. Good. Cool tree.
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh, it's the giraffe.
What is it?
This is all my stuff from our family home. Kept everything.
Guess you thought you might come back. What's his name?
Giraffe.
Yeah. It's about as original as I expected.
It's a child's toy. And over here we've got... Yep.
Jack? You okay?
Yeah.
Look at that expression. And what do you have?
My artsy rebel phase.
Complete with a very rebellious how-to guide. I always wanted to try this, actually. Never had the time.
Funny that. Okay, and maybe there's one more in the next room?
What's wrong?
Toto. That's my signature.
Do you bless the rains down in Africa?
I've never even been here before.
That woman in the picture is you, isn't it? So,
Jack. There's something you should know. 1999. I was 8 years old, playing in my backyard, and a woman approached me, told me she was from the future. She gave me very specific details of events that would come to pass. She gave me this. Filled with dates, events, proof of it all. Jack, that woman,
it was you.
Duh.
everything I told myself would happen, did. Every detail, for better or worse, came to pass, and couldn't be changed. Our fate is laid out before us, Jack. Everything that happened to get us here, every sacrifice that was made, they're all a part of this path. And they can't be changed or undone.
Beth,
When we step in that time machine, you will see for yourself.
There's no fate but what we make, Beth.
all right. If you're that sure about how all this works, we can try it your way.
Did you just leave it behind?
Notebook was full of dates, events that would come to pass, instructions. Her entire existence was formed out of those pages.
Beth, I know that this encounter will be a lot to take in. After all, it's not every day you meet your future self. I'd tell you that you need to keep this all a secret, but I know you won't listen. You'll learn that lesson the hard way. The next few years won't be easy for you. Nobody you know is ever going to understand what you are going through. Those closest to you will try to change you, convince you that you're losing your mind. You're not. You are special. You have been chosen to do something amazing. Know that your struggles will all be worth it in the end because you have a purpose. You're going to save the world. How do I know? I've been through all this before, and I'm going to prove it. Below you will find a list of events that will come to pass in the future. They cannot be changed or undone. It will take time for you to accept this, but eventually you will learn to use this knowledge to your advantage. You'll be prepared for what is coming. Derek Stevenson has been bullying you for months. On October 3rd, you will push him down the staircase at school. You'll do everything in your power to resist this, partially to avoid the consequences, partly to prove this book wrong. But the terrible things he will say in that moment will be too much for you to handle. He'll pretend to cry, claim that you gave him a concussion, and you'll take all the blame. You'll be transferred to another school. You'll hope things will get better. They won't. It's going to be a difficult year. Whenever you feel helpless, just remember this book. You are special. You have a purpose that they don't. Hold on to that. And if it makes you feel better, 16 years from now, Derek will be working at a dollar store. He still lives with his mom. Mr. Hartsook from next door will pass away. The kids at school will steal your jacket. Your parents will claim that you're hiding it on purpose, so they will buy you a new one. Look in the bin on the corner of 3rd and Main. You'll find something that will get you through the winter. You'll be teased for wearing it by Michelle. You'll fight back, but it will only make things worse. Eventually, when you are able to contain your anger, take her aside and say the following to her. I'm sorry about your mom. Then give her a hug. She will push you away, She will look incredibly confused, vulnerable. She will never tease you again. Erica, your best friend, will break her arm. Having read this, you will do everything in your power to prevent it. The actions you take to avoid this from happening will only make it so. This is the first time you will truly witness that your fate is already determined. It cannot be changed. Erica will blame you for the incident. Try not to take this to heart. You will soon discover that she isn't the friend you thought she was. Stay strong. You will find people who respect you for who you are very soon. You will take the night bus home. There will be only one other passenger on board, a scruffy-looking kid with a black eye. His name is Jack Joyce. Remember his face. He's going to become important down the line. This is the one that will change you. An event will occur that will devastate the entire nation. An act of terrorism will cause the World Trade Centers to collapse. Thousands will die. I won't go into further detail because the more you know, the more painful it will become when you are unable to prevent it, and you will try to prevent it. You will fail. You will curse this book for not telling you more. You will curse yourself for not being able to stop it. It will take a long time to get over this, but eventually you will use this pain to fuel your path forward. Now, you've now felt what it is to be completely unprepared for what is coming. It won't happen again. Next time you'll be ready. This is the event that will finally make you believe. Any doubt you had will disappear. You're ready to take on this mission. So what is coming? An experiment gone wrong will cause time to break down. The event will be referred to as a fracture in time. The onset of this event cannot be prevented, but the outcome must be. If the fracture is not stopped, then time itself will come to an end. Life on our planet will end. Saving the world wasn't an overstatement. It is your mission. You must stop the fracture. You can pull this off, but to do so you need to follow some simple instructions. Learn who to trust. Short answer, nobody. The less people know about you, the safer you will be. From this point forward, your mission takes priority over every other aspect of your life. Do not start a relationship of any kind that you aren't willing to leave behind at a moment's notice. There is one exception to this rule. We'll get to that. Know your enemy. Monarch Solutions. They will try to prevent you from achieving your goal. Learn everything you can about them. You will know the best way to achieve this when the time is right. Monarch is run by a man named Paul Serene. You must never be seen by Paul Serene. If he discovers you, then you will risk failing your mission. Learn everything you can about him. Remain hidden, but keep in mind that the best place to hide is often in plain sight. Blend in. Change your appearance frequently. Hair color, clothing style, everything. Be cautious about drawing attention to yourself. Learn to blend in. Examine those around you, the way they move, speak, laugh. Copy them. Become your surroundings. Train daily. There are a series of skills you will need to master to truly be prepared. Hand-to-hand combat, Filipino Kali and Jeet Kune Do. Weapons training, knives, pistols, shotguns, rifles. Wilderness survival. Compartmentalization, lip reading, face reading. The list is one that you will build as you go. In time you will understand what is necessary and what isn't. Don't rush yourself. Start with gymnastics. Study your target. Jack Joyce. He's the one person who can help you in your mission. He's the exception to Rule 1. You can trust him. Learn what you can about Jack. Study him from afar, but do not approach him directly. You aren't the only one watching him. On October 9th, 2016, you will rescue Jack Joyce. From there, the next steps will reveal themselves. Be patient with him. He's stubborn, reckless, naive, but you can't do this without him. And he has his moments. He's much smarter than he seems at first. Don't mistake grief for stupidity. Study your objective, the countermeasure. This is the device that was built to stop the fracture in time. This is your objective. Find the countermeasure and use it to stop the fracture. Achieve this and the world will be saved. The device was built by Jack's brother, Dr. William Joyce. Any attempt to contact William or find the countermeasure before the onset of the fracture will be in vain. Wait. Jack will show you the way. Retrieving the countermeasure will not be a simple task. It will involve great hardship and sacrifice. When the time comes, you will be ready for this. When you first read this, it won't make much sense to you. Over time, you will believe every word, but you will feel underprepared. You will wish that I had told you everything. I promise you that what is written here is everything you will need in order to get you where you need to be. I know this, because I'm already there. Chin up, Toto. You're going to achieve amazing things. You.
It's her. She's the one who's been painting all over the city. Jesus.
So at this point, I think the reasonable thesis is that she has returned from after time was repaired to do these things. Also, we are all out of time for episode 15. Come back and see me again in episode 16 for a second power relay, and hopefully time travel for real this time. Talk to you soon.